Hi, are you ready for your first day?
Empowering minds, shaping futures.
Hi, are you ready for your first day?
Empowering minds, shaping futures.
Hi, are you ready for your first day?
Empowering minds, shaping futures.
Hi, are you ready for your first day?
Empowering minds, shaping futures.
Hi, are you ready for your first day?
Empowering minds, shaping futures.
Hi, are you ready for your first day?
Empowering minds, shaping futures.
Hi, are you ready for your first day?
Empowering minds, shaping futures.
Hi, are you ready for your first day?
Empowering minds, shaping futures.
Hi, are you ready for your first day?
Empowering minds, shaping futures.
Hi, are you ready for your first day?
Empowering minds, shaping futures.
Hi, are you ready for your first day? Hi, are you ready for your first day? Hi, are you ready for your first day?
Empowering minds, shaping futures.
Hello everyone and welcome to the online doctoral open day of Corvinus University of Budapest. We are here today to help you navigate through the doctoral programs of our university. Let us hear today's agenda. First, we will hear a brief overview from Professor István Kónya, Dean of the Doctoral Schools. Then we will move into a panel discussion with the representatives of our 4 doctoral schools, and then we will have a Q&A session when we will answer all of your questions that you can write in the comments below. Thank you, and to start us off, I would like to invite István Kónya, Dean of the Corvinus Doctoral Schools, to present the highlights for 2026 and the general framework of our programs. Professor, the floor is yours.
Hi, let me also welcome all of you on this actually very nice afternoon here in Budapest. My name is again István Kónya and I'm Dean for Corvinus Doctoral Schools, whatever that actually means. Let me start with just a few words about this slogan that we chose, which is from local roots to international excellence. We really mean that. So we are a university in Budapest. We are very proud of our traditions, and you know, we are in Hungary, and that is an important part of our identity. But we also aim to educate our students to be competitive on the international stage at the PhD level. That basically means that we want to give you an education here in Hungary, here in Budapest, that is competitive with researchers who are trained across the globe in European schools in other parts of the world. So that's why we chose this slogan, and this is really our mission, to provide competitive and transferable education at the PhD level at Corvinus in Budapest. So let me say a few words about, you know, generally what it actually means to do a PhD. Why would you consider applying, and what you can expect during your studies. So as a main rule, the goal of a PhD is to prepare you for an academic career. Academic career in general, or you know, mostly means a research job or a teaching job at universities. But that said, there are of course other options, and a PhD can be very useful in research institutes. And even if your purpose at the end turns out not to be academic research, there's various other possibilities depending on your field of study. Many PhDs work at central banks, public administration, diplomacy. All these are fields where we offer PhD training, and we have very good high quality programs. Many of our students, and in general other PhD students, go to international organizations, IMF, World Bank, United Nations or the European Union. And in fact, quite a few end up in the private sector, which also values skills like independent thinking, research or analytical skills, rigorous training, determination, etc. So many PhDs work in finance, various forms of business and economic consulting, market research, media, etc. Okay, so while again, the main purpose of a PhD is an academic, is preparing you for an academic career, but there are many other options available, and as you go along with your studies, of course, it's in the end up to you which one you choose. So what do you need during a PhD? And I really mean that these are important traits that are good to have. Obviously, you don't necessarily need all of them 100%, but definitely I would say determination is key. PhD lasts for 4 years, actually, typically more like 5. So you have to keep going, you have to motivate yourself. Curiosity, the main idea is that you do independent research, especially during the second half of your studies, and it makes a lot of sense and it helps a lot with your motivation if you do something that you actually are curious about, that you enjoy on a daily basis. Of course, you need to have high standards. We have high standards, and we expect our PhD students to share that value. So, you aim high, and we try to help you with achieving that goal. Diligence, you have to do it, again, on a daily basis. You have to keep working. It's a slow but steady progress that actually wins the day. Openness to new ideas, to colleagues, to working together, to be not just able to convince others, but also take ideas from others, open to new ideas, etc. So I would say these are the main things that we expect and also kind of recommend that you keep in mind when you think about PhDs and you think about applying to our programs. So let me now turn to some specifics regarding our PhD programs here at Corvinus. These are organized in 4 doctoral schools. We have the Doctoral School of Business and Management, which has 5 doctoral programs. We have the Doctoral School of Economics, Business and Informatics with 3 doctoral programs, one of which is actually new this year. Then the Doctoral School of International Relations and Political Science offers 4 doctoral programs. And last but not least, the Doctoral School of Sociology and Communication Science has 2 doctoral programs. My colleagues, after I finish my brief talk, of course, will also explain in some details about these 4 doctoral schools, and you are very welcome to ask questions about them. A lot of information is available on the website, and of course, if you have any particular questions that you cannot find there, just send us an email and we'll try to answer your questions. The program structure is basically a standard in Hungary, and more or less it's the same as you can expect in other parts of the world. The program itself is 4 years. First 2 years mostly formal studies, and the second 2 years research, which mostly means that you work on your dissertation, which you write and you submit after you finish the 4th year. There is a complex exam at the end of the 2nd year where basically you prove that you have all the necessary knowledge and skills for the dissertation phase. And once you pass that exam, then, as I said earlier, you enter the 2nd phase and then you write your thesis, which ends with the defense. That typically happens during the 5th year, so after you completed the 4 years. We expect you to start working on your individual research projects from the start, although, again, the main part of your thesis period is the 3rd and 4th years. It's a good idea, and again, we generally expect that you get started as soon as possible. In fact, by the end of the 2nd year, at the complex exam, you need to have at least a solid plan for how you will actually write your thesis. We also require that you present your ideas. Obviously, at the beginning, these are still incomplete and rough plans, and as the time progresses, then you get more and more into both practice and you have more and more of your thesis. So these presentations also become more involved and improve over time. And of course, at the end, you have to write a thesis, so we have academic writing skills as well. It's a standard that you do some teaching. It's not a high teaching load, so the minimum we expect is actually fairly light, but there's a probability or possibility, I would say, to do more if that is your interest. The university can offer you various teaching options. And also there are a lot of ways to get involved in research projects besides your own thesis work. These typically happen on an individual basis, but there's lots of interesting stuff going on at Corvinus, and PhD students are highly welcome to enter these. Why do we recommend that you choose Corvinus? Well, it's the leading higher education institution in business economics and social sciences in Hungary. That applies also to the PhD level. We offer a degree, of course, which is recognized across the European Union. We have many areas that you can choose from. So within this broad field of business economics and social sciences, I think we pretty much cover all the relevant fields in our 14 doctoral programs. Our programs are taught in English. It's an international degree, and you get advisors, which is of course a very important part of the PhD experience, that you work with your own advisors. So these colleagues, these researchers are highly active in the international academic life, and they can help you navigate that as well. We offer scholarships on top of state funding, which is available to any Hungarian and European Economic Area citizen. For a select set of incoming students, we offer the Corvinus Doctoral Scholarship, which more than doubles the state scholarship, so I think that's a quite attractive possibility, and there are many other different types of sources of funding that we are happy to discuss in detail, which incoming students can also apply for, including actually, and I think this is important, types of research support, for example, conference travel or longer visits at other universities in other countries. And as I said a few minutes ago, there's various teaching and research opportunities during your studies at the university. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say at this point. Thank you for your attention. And I'm looking forward to your applications and your questions, and also at the end welcoming many and maybe most of you as our new doctoral students from September. Thank you very much.
Hi, are you ready for your first day?
Empowering minds, shaping futures.
Thank you, Professor Konya, for this summary. Now, before we move on, let me remind everyone that if you have any questions regarding the programs or the admission procedure, please ask your questions in the comments and we can answer them in the Q&A session after the panel discussion. Now, let's move on to the panel discussion. Let me introduce our guests for today. Imre Fertő, representing the Doctoral School of Business and Management. Then Beáta Nagy, representing the Doctoral School of Social Communication. Péter Csóka, representing the Doctoral School of Economics and Business Informatics. And Péter Marton, representing the School of International Relations and Political Science. Now, to start off our discussion, who would you recommend the doctoral programs to?
So let's start with the opposite way. Who don't, or please don't apply to our program. People who are just, seeking the prestigious title, like the PhD, or just like to see the DR before his family name, please avoid us, okay? And also just clarify, so what is the PhD? PhD is not a simple continuation of the master program. I believe that you are enjoying very much your master life, but the PhD is fully different one. So it's not just a simple continuation of 4 years, other study and enjoy the life. Yes, you should enjoy your life, your PhD studied, but so you should do something else. So a bit more seriously, yes, more specifically in our program in business and management, people who are interesting for, let's say, everyday business phenomena, like, for example, why firms doing bad decision, why ESG program fails, why consumers saying one thing and doing perfectly the opposite. And this is, I would say, it's not simply saying, oh, that's really interesting, it's not enough. What you should say that, okay, I like to study really seriously why things are working this way. So we are waiting such kind of people. So what is really important here? So you have to have some, let's say, good characteristics. You should accept the critics and the feedbacks. If somebody criticize your paper or your presentation, it's not a personal attack. It's just a quiet nature thing. So that's the way how can you learn, is how to improve your research. So it's really important. You should be flexible, open mind, so just really what's going on, and accept the opposite opinion. Just a short takeaway message. Yes, we are waiting for people who are obviously talented, committed, and passionate for science. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the question. The Doctoral School of Sociology and Communication Science runs 2 programs, and I try to summarize who are the people we are looking for and who we recommend the programs to. First of all, everyone who is just finishing their study in communication science or media studies or any other social sciences which lead to a track which leads you to further study in sociology or communication. So we are very much looking those who intend to learn and study more about these fields and go deeper into this field. The second group of people we are looking for are those working in PR or advocacy or or related fields who intend to continue their careers either within the branch. They want to have a career enhancement. They have a plan to go further on their careers, or they want to change their careers and go outside maybe to higher education. And the third group whom we would like to reach out is those who work for national or international NGOs or corporations, or working for research institutes, and sooner or later they will need the doctoral degree. And of course, we are very much looking for those who work already in higher education or who plan to have a career in higher education and they will need a doctoral degree. But I fully agree with my colleague that those who don't like criticism, critical views, for those, Corvinus might not be the perfect place.
Thank you.
Thank you. At the Doctoral School of Economics and Business Informatics, we have 3 programs, but before I go there, I also want to talk about general, the doctoral programs. And what I wrote is that you can work either in the academia or the industry. And nowadays, this critical attitude may help you because you will be challenged all the time. And in the time of AI, you can show your critical thinking abilities, as our colleagues mentioned, and as I would also like to emphasize. You will be challenged by fellow students, professors, at conferences, and by anonymous reviewers, and then you will really learn this critical thinking ability. And also related to the master's studies, what you have to prepare is to write kind of 3 masters, which are even at a higher level. So you need to be ready to work on those projects, which can be seen as a kind of marathon, and really you have to dedicate time for that. Regarding our doctoral school, the Doctoral School of Economics and Business Informatics, I think we are the most quantitative doctoral school. So we really look for students with very quantitative background and who look for programs which mirror the rigor of international universities. What we also do is we need students who are open to change advisors and improve their projects. As I said, we give feedback in each semester, and maybe it will result as changing supervisor or co-supervisor. The aim is just to have a very good PhD thesis. And what I also wrote is, and I guess that's true for all doctoral schools, is you can join right after your master or even after you worked like 10 or 15 years. And a few words about the specific programs. So the Operational Research and Game Theory program is a brand new program. So there you really need a heavy mathematical background of real analysis and probability theory. But interestingly, this operations research is also known as quantitative management science. So there, by modeling, you can rigorously solve problems. I will give examples later. And essentially, you can do good decisions. And what game theory adds is to good decisions when you also have other decision makers, and you have to take into account the interaction. In the second program is the economics program, where you can also work on game theory and economic theory. But now, from this year on, we are looking for students who would like to apply the game theory to fields like macroeconomics, finance, industrial organizations, and labor markets, and so on. But in the program of economics, there is also a huge emphasis on empirical economics, causal data analysis, and what I would say in one sentence is that it's for those who want to collect, which is also important, and analyze data about either the micro or the macroeconomy and draw meaningful conclusions from it, supporting fact-based decision making. And finally, our third program is business informatics, which is unique in the Central European region, although established in 2009. And it's for bridge builders who want to synthesize information technology and business value. Or in one sentence, if you are interested in how AI, big data, and digital transformation can be ethically and effectively managed within organizations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. So I'm Peter Martin, also a Peter, but speaking from the vantage point of a different doctoral school with different doctoral programs. If I have to give a short answer as to what is necessary for an ideal candidate to have as a skill set, well, I will start maybe with what in this day and age is something that doesn't quite hurt to say, which is that you're really supposed to be someone who is ready to read, think, and write, do all of these things at a time when some of humanity is apparently not quite convinced that this is any longer necessary. Well, we very much believe that this is, and I would maybe underline the importance of cognitive flexibility as something that rhymes well with what Peter has already said, my fellow Peter on my right. Cognitive flexibility entails that you should not just think but rethink things constantly, and you should not be the type of person who is satisfied by, I don't know, getting a skill set from some kind of education and then be done with it. But maybe you want to be the person who defines the agendas, the issues, the processes that will then require completely different skills from others. So that's a way to relate to the world as well. And my doctoral school, the International Relations and Political Science doctoral school, is very much that kind of multiverse where we want to have that type of person who does these things. So we have 4 programs, probably is useful if I mention them. We have a program called Urban and Environmental Policy Studies, a program in political science, a program in world economics, and finally, and that is my program, the International and Security Studies program. And so if you hear those names of these programs, I mean, you will obviously get a sense that this is really like a multiverse where a lot of things fit in. So if you can see yourself in the kind of space that's overall demarcated by these programs, by mention of these programs, anywhere, even in between them, then you can probably find a place ultimately within our doctoral school, an intellectual home for yourself. Now, even the individual universes that make up this multiverse are, in fact, quite multifaceted. And so to give an example, in world economics, you can deal with regional and world economics, political economy approaches. In the case of international relations, you can look at the theoretical side of things in international relations theory. You can look at area studies, international law. So you have multidisciplinary support in all of these areas. And overall, it's certainly very, very highly multidisciplinary. The next thing, probably just to cut it short, that I should mention is maybe a profile of the candidate. I don't know if it helps maybe to relate to yourself as to whether you fit that kind of profile. We do get a lot of applications from people who are interested in continuing their studies, and that's really not a bad thing. I mean, obviously someone who is currently in their studies and will go on from September in the framework of a doctoral program, they will not need to get reaccustomed to doing all the studying things that count as studying. Of course, we would also like candidates maybe with a slightly different profile, and it's great to see when such people ultimately make it, and we do get applications from such people. Sometimes we do currently have in our program such people. So the kind of people I'm talking about, practitioners with some experience already, that's great to have. If you're coming from a public policy area as a practitioner, that's great. If you're coming from the civil society sphere or the corporate sphere, that can also be very, very useful. And if your experience is in research, that very much counts as well. That certainly helps to have some research skills ready-made and put that to use in the framework of working for a dissertation. I hope this helps for basic orientation. I'm looking forward to the rest of the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the insights. Now that we talked about who the programs are a great fit for, now let's talk about the research of the students. What are the hot topics of today, and what kind of current global problems our students are researching right now?
Yes, I will begin a bit non-conformist. I don't believe there is hot topic, because what is hot topic today is tomorrow will be outdated. So just think about, you start your PhD study, let's say in September, you will start something which you believe that, okay, this is really hot, and you finish 5 or years later, who cares about and what you've done? So, but we are the social scientists. The basic question for important research start with the word why. Why happens something? That's the starting point. If you reach this point, which is not really easy, because you have to invest a lot of time to read a lot of boring papers and books to identify what is the research gap, what we are calling, okay, because you, at the end of the day, you have to contribute to the or common knowledge. What is the new? That's what your referee will ask, okay? What you are doing, it's fun, okay, but what else? And this is, really stressful procedure. So I cannot promise for you easy way how to do that. So yes, obviously our students are, working on, let's say, this recent topic like climate change, AI, resilience of supply chains, and consumer behavior in platform economy and something like that. It's okay. And but again, to reach the good research question, it's not just start with something is fashionable. This is who cares about what is fashionable, honestly. And what we like to teach to you, something could be fashionable, but it's the question is not, it's vogue. Methodology is weak. And answers or theory behind is fuzzy. But at the end of the day, you should distinguish, what is the intellectual hype and what is the real important issue. That's the crucial point.
Thank you.
In the Doctoral School of Sociology and Communication Science, we have more than 40 students working on their proposal, or they are already close to the finalizing their dissertation. So we have a pattern, and in this pattern we see that there are hot topics. One of them is the AI. In both doctoral schools programs, we can see that AI is very widely investigated by the students because it is widely investigated by their supervisors. In lucky cases, they can work together and make important research on the field. For example, related to AI, experimental approaches to the use of AI in communication as both a tool and a destabilizing force. It is one. In the field of sociology, the expectations around AI, on the future of work, how they will be influenced, it's another important topic which is related to AI and technology use. Another important or hot topic in communication and media science is the manipulation of media, disinformation campaigns, political messages, and the fake news. Of course, there are other topics within the communication programs, like organizational communication and gender equality in advertisements, etc. In sociology, there are further programs which partly are connected to the other programs as well. For example, the work-life balance issues, the student mobility, international student mobility is widely examined by our PhD students. But not only student, but academic mobility is also an important issue. Academic mobility connected to the network sciences, it is something very new which connects not only different geographical areas, but also different disciplines like quantitative network sciences and qualitative sociological classical perspectives. Last but not least, we give room for students who would like to investigate gender relations. It can be gender and work, gender and academic life, LGBTQ questions. I think we are very very open to new ideas and innovative ideas, and we, as I will explain a bit later, we offer very excellent supervisors to support the PhD students and candidates' work.
Thank you so much.
Yes, at the Doctoral School of Economics and Business Informatics, I also wanted to say that you do not have to work on hot topics. What is enough is just have a solid theoretical, empirical, or business informatics paper. But to really have that, you have to discuss it with your advisor. Maybe you will get one problem just to start, but then you really have to come up with ideas like a startup. And if you know startups, there are like 100 ideas, maybe 10 will start, and then one will really be a good company. So that's what you should have also in mind with these papers. And as I had, you should have 3 such papers. And yeah, so what I can advise is just work on what is exciting for you and your advisor, and go to research seminars, try to get the feeling of this kind of cups, what they are working on. But to tell you some topics, of course, our programs are also working on AI, not only the business informatics, but also operation research colleagues trying to even faster speed up the process of AI. But to give you a nice application of operation research, which one of our colleagues, Peter Biro, just received the European Innovation Award for kidney transportation software. And with this software, doctors can essentially do more transportations and save lives. And there you also need to have some optimization behind how to pair the patients and their donors. All students, I am very proud that are also presenting at research seminars already. Actually, tomorrow, one of our game theory students will present on game theory, but it's a very specific topic. So maybe I just tell you some of the titles of our internal 3-minute thesis competition, which will be run, by the way, on next Thursday, that you can see from all the doctoral schools. So all students worked on, for instance, using game theory, telecommunication problems, how to share the costs of building the internet cable, and which is good for streaming platforms. But then whether streaming platforms should kind of have a share from it, and what would be the good incentives there. In terms of economics, we have a very good Hungarian microdata. And using that, all students can work on topics like the effect of childcare on maternal labor supply, or we also have very good Chinese data, and then students are working on whether pension will reduce the rural elderly labor supply. And in the business informatics, let me also mention 2 important topics. One is the kind of spatial temporal modeling of fire risk using machine learning and remote sensing. So all students already published a model, and this modeling where you can see the risk of forest fire. And to relate finally to teaching, in business informatics, students are working on advancing automated exam generation.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so from my part, let me start with an example as to hot topics. So last year I was here as part of a summer university, and I talked there about the international politics of risk communication around a very interesting innovation being proposed by some in industry circles as we speak, that a radioactive waste material from fertilizer production called phosphogypsum be used for road construction purposes. And if you ask me, that's a hot topic. You haven't heard about it? I'm even more convinced it's a hot topic. So that kind of begins to answer the question, because if we're talking about a hot topic, I would simply say it has to be your topic, what you are bringing to this doctoral school ultimately. A topic means, of course, it has to be well-defined. You have to be able to actually pinpoint what you're interested in. It has to be your topic in the sense that you should be at some optimal point along the Dunning-Kruger curve. So you should really have some substantial knowledge about the matter at hand. but that entails also understanding what you don't know about that topic. The ability to ask relevant questions, meaningful questions that can take research on that issue forward. That's what will make this your topic. That's what will mean that you ultimately can own this issue. So that's when you become an ideal candidate to take up this issue in the form of doctoral research and come to us and do valuable work. Your topic, by the way, also means that you should really try and avoid just jumping on the bandwagon related to some topic understood as a hot topic, trying to do work that basically involves, grounds covered by others already. So you should really look to bring something new. The novelty has to be there. The originality has to be there. If you can put these things together, then your topic is going to be our hot topic eventually. And I don't know if I should add anything more. I've mentioned what programs we have in our doctoral school, and I mentioned the different disciplinary areas involved there. Really, any subject there can be a bright example of what could be a suitable topical framework as such to begin to think in. I will mention maybe one last thing, shameless self-promotion for my own program, the International and Security Studies program. So the home to it within Corvinus University is largely the Department of International Relations. And we have a Substack called Geopolemic. So if you're interested in checking out that Substack, it's at geopolemic.substack.com. If you're reading Substacks from academics, that's a great thing. That's a great sign already that you may want to belong here. We have ours too, so if you're interested in Geopolemic, you can follow what my colleagues are doing. You can see the kind of topics they are interested in. And if your topic, which is going to be our hot topic of the future, can connect well to what they are doing, that's also an excellent sign that you should take as a key cue that you should be probably interested in getting into this program. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all the answers and all the topics mentioned. Now that we talked about the research, now let's talk about the career that students can have. So my question is, how does the Corvinus Scholarship and the international environment of the doctoral schools help students build a career while they're in the program?
Yes, let's advertise our program because I forgot just hearing my colleagues. So yes, we have 5 programs, just business and management, marketing, finance, accounting, decision, operation, staff, and sustainable management. But more seriously, I'm just answering for the question. Yes, scholarship is important at least 2 points of view. Get some money to you, that's fine. Because why typical student can fail is mainly on the time management. If you have to work, it's, honestly, it's very difficult to finish the program. If you get some reliable money and you are lucky because your parents can put some additional money, it's good. And then that's the way how can you focus on your research. Because yes, it's really important time management, because if you are overworked, you don't have chance to focus. So one cheap advice to you, you have to think about at least half hour per day on your research topic. Otherwise you will fail, I'm pretty sure. This is my experience. And what you mentioned, the international environment, which is really important thing. So all of our programs are international ones. So we have not only Hungarian students, but many other countries. So, and it means that you are working in international environment during your studies. So you have to reflect colleagues. You are coming from fully different cultural environment and have a different logic, which is quite important. Just go back at the beginning. So when we are mentioning the openness during the studies, is really important. Yeah, and what we can learn to you, not just simply being smart, such kind of sound smart, such kind of panel discussion, but how to survive the peer review at the end of the day. That's really important. And that's, yes, and create the network and create your research community, investing your future and getting interesting topic. And yes, finally, you should enjoy your research. If you don't, so you will give up.
Thank you.
We help students with many comparative projects. So I think it's very important that if you are at the Doctoral School of Sociology and Communication Science, you are not alone. Okay? It means that our colleagues run various projects at the doctoral school. Right now, we have minimum 2 horizon projects, one on AI, the other one on social movements, on protest movements, and we welcome PhD students to take part in these projects. And once you take part in a joint research, then you will be connected very strongly to your study because you are interested in your research at Corvinus. So I think it's very important doctoral students can be connected to the projects, plus they can take part in joint publications with their supervisors, and supervisors also help students to survive the peer review. Yes, it's important. The other important thing is the strong community. We have, as my colleagues already mentioned, we have a very strong international community, and if you don't believe, come to the Corvinus, go to the buildings, into the buildings, and you will see how many international students and faculties are there. And we organize many social events, not just for fun, but also for protecting students' well-being and self-esteem, etc. So we really would like to take care of our students to have a very healthy and successful period at Corvinus. Our Hungarian students help a lot to integrate international students, so they bridge the Hungarian and the foreign academic communities, and there are other students who work for other universities, and they also mean a big help for our international students to be better embedded into the Hungarian academic environment. In the sociology program, we are very proud of the structural changes, which means that you don't have to study many not very necessary subjects anymore, but you have to study lots of methodology courses, plus you have to focus on your thesis, on your proposal. So you have time and support from everybody to develop your proposal, to go to conferences, domestic conferences, international conferences. Luckily, the doctoral schools have the budget for that. We have financial opportunities to support the best students to go for international conferences and building their academic networks and make connections. We also support summer school, of course. Peter mentioned the summer school, so I would like to connect to that as well. Last but not least, we have very good infrastructure. Infrastructure meaning that PhD students have access to a separate PhD room, so they can work there, they can stay together and be very effective. Plus, we offer very good supervisions, so our domestic and international supervisors are very well selected, and they are very excellent in their fields. They publish in highly ranked journals, international journals, and we really want to promote the best match between students and supervisors.
Thank you.
Yes, and with this best match, of course, the operation research colleagues can help as well to optimize. Just kidding. But I will say the same and extend a little bit. So I also want to emphasize that you really have to allocate time to research, and also also in the first 2 years. And that may be easier because you also have to allocate time to courses, and then you can use it as an excuse why you are not doing research. But believe us, you have to start this as a habit, and you will enjoy it doing research. Of course, I also noted the international mentorship. We have about even more than 50 advisors. And maybe what was not mentioned is that they also have international network, and we are also open to have co-supervisors from this international network. Two more things I noted is that one is that what we prepare you for is to compete and discuss at international level. So it was also mentioned that that means you can go to international conferences, but that you should also look at as a competition. So not all papers are accepted, and we would like to help you to be internationally compatible. At my doctoral school, and maybe it's also with others, but for us, for sure, there are at least 5 research seminars where each week professors are presenting, mostly from abroad. There are also many conferences and workshops at Corvinus, and this year we are organizing mini courses where colleagues from Hong Kong and Singapore and Tel Aviv are coming, and also PhD students can have one-on-one meetings with those professors and discuss their startup ideas I was mentioning. Maybe it's also good for all the doctoral schools that we prepare for both the academia and also the professional sector. So if you feel like you are kind of failing, or you don't want to compete at the very high level in the academia, as I mentioned before, you will also get an advantage at the professional sector.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I obviously won't be able to add something radically new because my colleagues work with a very similar opportunity structure to the one that we have. I will mention that we also do have a room specifically for PhD students. It's the one with the best view, actually, at least on the floor where we are located. So it's a very good place to be and a good environment to form a community with all those others who are there, build bonds with them. And of course, we try to give adequate supervisor support. We work on making sure there's the right match for all doctoral students concerned. There's support for international mobility, including to major academic conferences. It's very much a part of the formal expectations as well, that you be a part of that circuit, because of course there are publication requirements as part of these programs, and how on earth would you be able to meet those requirements if you would not expose yourself to the kind of environment that we are talking about. And so for this purpose, let me maybe mention a buzzword in the context of our institution, at least, that you will certainly familiarize yourself with at some point in the foreseeable future, or within the foreseeable future, and that's the Pannonia Scholarship. So this is the one that can mostly provide the kind of support that's needed, and in fact it does adequately cover most of the needs that people may have. And what else should I add? Probably at this point everything that's really important has been mentioned in this regard. Feel free to contact us. Of course, our names have been mentioned as part of this live streamed event, and you can all reach out to us and ask specific questions about opportunities, conditions, terms, whatnot. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the answers, all the insights. I think our viewers could hear some really motivating factors that can track them towards applying. And I hope if someone's just thinking of applying, I hope that after this discussion, you will be sure to apply. And do not forget that on the 16th of March, there is the deadline of the application for the doctoral schools. So please consider that. And then, as mentioned, on the 5th of March, there will be a PhD cafe where you can meet the doctoral students face-to-face as a community. And you can ask your questions in person. It will be held at Gellért campus of Corvinus. Thank you so much for joining us. And now let's move into the Q&A session. I will look for your questions and answers right now. The tool, thank you. So the first question is the scholarship open to non-EU citizens as well? The answer is no, but most non-EU citizens can apply to Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship program, which is another scholarship that you can consider. There is a second question saying, are there PhD positions for AI fields? Yes, a lot of them were mentioned, but for example, business informatics is a really good field for that. Or there's another question, may I inquire whether your doctoral program offers a mid-year admission cycle? Furthermore, is it possible to submit an application for the forthcoming semester, or should a period of passive enrollment occur? May one resume studies, resume studies immediately thereafter, or is an additional semester of waiting required before the continuation? There is no mid-year admission. Every program starts only in September, and as I mentioned, the deadline is on the 16th of March. Another question, can a student remain employed during their studies, or is a full-time student status expected? How is the teaching organized? Where can we view professors' profiles, since they are not linked to biographies on the website? Have you had Fulbright scholars? Would I need to relocate from Belgrade to Budapest in order to attend the program? To what extent are we required to adhere to the proposed thesis after applying, or can our research plans change during the studies? How many students do you admit, and how many typically apply? Where are alumni employed after completing the program? I am interested in international and security studies. A lot of questions from one viewer. Thank you so much. We cannot answer all of them right now, but there are very detailed questions. They are really detailed questions, so please write an email about all of these questions so we can answer them one by one. The email address is phd.office@uni-corvinus.hu uni-corvinus. There's another question, just one question this time. In case of a successful admission to the program, is there any possibility of transfer counting of courses credits that were taken previously from another university at a PhD level? Yes, there is a possibility of accepting credits from your previous studies with some rules written in the doctoral rules. But there is a possibility, so you can certainly try. Another question, hey, the DreamApply platform lists among the necessary documents an NB cognitive test as a standard part of the admission procedure. Completing a cognitive test is mandatory for students to all 4 doctoral schools at Corvinus University of Budapest. How do I take this test? This cognitive online test is conducted by us. All applicants will receive detailed information on the test right after the application period via email. Hey, I have a question concerning the application procedure. The required documents include a supporting letter of the program director. In order to receive that, do we simply contact the respective director via email, or do we need to send them anything? You should contact the program director directly, and it is advised to send a research plan. There's a lot of more questions, so bear with me. Can you please also outline the expected time commitment for students, particularly regarding any in-person requirements, courses mandatory on-campus period? How much physical presence is required per week or per month? It is hard to outline perfectly. Please discuss it with the program director. You can also write them or write us an email so we can help you get the answer. Another question, the 9th one. So thank you so much for all your questions. Hi everyone, thank you for organizing this open day. I have 2 questions. First, regarding the online test, what does it consist of and what does it aim to assess, especially for the sociology PhD? Also, how will it be conducted online? Second, concerning publication during our studies, how does the process usually work? What kind of support do PhD candidates receive to publish or co-publish with other senior researchers? This cognitive online test is conducted by us. All applicants will receive detailed information on the test right after the application period via email, as I mentioned before, to another question. And for your second question, regarding the publication, we suggest to consult the program director on how it's going, because it can differ from research to research. There is another question asking, regarding my previous question, community is important during a PhD. Could you kindly share what community life looks like in the program, how students typically connect with each other, and are there regular spaces to interact, such as peer groups, research groups, and other kind of meetups? Thank you. Yes, absolutely. We try to build a community with the help of the Doctoral Students Association. And also, if you come to the PhD cafe next week, then you can actually meet the community face-to-face, and you can see what community they have. There are 2 other questions. First one is, any tips to have a successful research proposal for the application for Doctoral School of Sociology and Communication Science would be much appreciated. Write about something you feel passionate about, and do not worry much about pleasing us. As mentioned before, if you have an original idea, that is highly appreciated. And the last question of today, could you please clarify whether doctoral candidates are expected to secure a supervisor before admission, or whether supervisors are formally assigned to the doctoral school after acceptance into the program? Supervisors are formally assigned by the doctoral school after the acceptance into the program, so you do not have to have an advisor during your application. Thank you so much. These were all the questions for today. Thank you so much for staying with us. We hope that we answered your questions thoroughly, and if not, you can write us an email, you can write to the program directors, and we will be eager to help. So thank you so much, and thank you for joining us, professors, and have a great afternoon. Goodbye.